All right, this is part 2 of your practice test. Again, you want to have something to grade with and your practice test out in front of you and be listening and taking good notes if you missed problems. All right, let's get right to it. The second part of this was heavy on the coordinate plane. This is a big part of your test here. So it was very heavy on coordinate plane, plotting coordinates, reflecting them across axes, distance between points, things like that. So pay attention because this is a good chunk of your test. All right, in numbers 10, 11, and 12, the town was laid out using this coordinate plane below. Answer the following questions. You had to first figure out the coordinates for the home, the school, the library, and the state park. I'm sorry, the skate park. So check those coordinates, okay, to make sure you've got them right. But the home and the school were in quadrant 1, so they were all positive, 4, 5, and 4, 2. The library is over here in quadrant 2, so negative 1, 3. And the skate park was on the x-axis at negative 3, 0. Number 11. The police station is located at the school's reflection across the x-axis. So the police station is, if you find the school, we want to go across the x-axis. Well, the school is 2 units above the x-axis, which means the police station will be 2 units on the opposite side of the x-axis. So it is right here where my cursor is. Its coordinates would be 4, negative 2. Remember, when you're reflecting across the x-axis, you're moving up or down because you want to go across the x-axis. Okay, we don't want to go the other way. We don't want to go the same direction as the x-axis. We want to actually go across the x-axis. So we went from quadrant 1 to quadrant 4. Now the bank, on the other hand, is at the library's reflection across the y-axis. So find the library, and we want to go across the y-axis now. Well, that's the one that runs up and down. But to get across it, we have to go sideways. Okay, so instead of being 1 unit to the left of the y-axis, where the library is, we're going to be 1 unit to the right of the y-axis, and that's where the bank would be at 1, 3. All right. So there is that first one. Notice this was plotting coordinates, but also reflecting coordinates. More of that is coming soon as well, so pay attention if this one kind of wasn't sitting in so well with you. Number 13 and 14. All right, so they give you point A at 4, negative 3. It starts down here. You have to put this here first to get the problem going. Reflect it across the y-axis, and then plot and label it, the reflected point, as point A prime. Remember, when there's an apostrophe, we call it A prime. What are the coordinates of the new reflected point A prime? Well, if we're going across the y-axis, you want to go across it, which obviously means we're going to go to the y-axis and then further. And it was 4 units to the left of the y-axis because where we started was 4 units to the right of the y-axis. So A prime is down here. Its coordinates would be negative 4, negative 3. That's where that came from. But then they take it a step further. If point A prime is then reflected across the x-axis, plot and label its new point as A double prime and give the coordinates for it. So now we're going to take the new point that we just made and we're going to reflect it across the x-axis. Well, that means I need to get to the x-axis and then go across it, same distance that this one was below it. So that's 3 units to get to the x-axis. So 3 more units to get to A double prime. And that would mean that its coordinates are negative 4, positive 3. Notice the connection here between our coordinates. We started at 4, negative 3. We went over here, so our x coordinate changed. And then we went up here, so our y coordinate changed. Okay, remember some of those informations about what's changing when you're reflecting across an x-axis or a y-axis. Number 15, you were not given a coordinate plane for these last 4 problems, so I went ahead and put one here on the screen so you can see it. But you either need to draw your own coordinate plane or just think about it mentally, because you can figure this out in your head if you look for what they have in common. So number 15, how far is the ordered pair 7, 3 from the x-axis? The first thing I did here was show where 7, 3 would be, the red dot right there. But they're asking how far it is from the x-axis. Well, this is the x-axis, so if I want to get to it, I just go down 3 steps, or 3 units. So there's that answer. Notice the connection here. If they're asking how far something is from the x-axis, our answer is our y-coordinate. We're 3 units away, okay? Because this first number keeps me on the x-axis and the second one takes me away from it. So I was 3 units above it, so that's why my answer is 3. Same thing's going on here. How far is the ordered pair negative 2, 8 from the y-axis? Well, negative 2, 8 would be up here. They want me to figure out how far we are from the y-axis. Well, that's this one right here. I just have to go 2 spaces to the right. Again, and that's kind of like this one. This is 2 spaces this way from the axis. So we kind of just want to get back to it, which is why our answer here is 2 units. Notice I did use a coordinate plane, so you might want to either draw your own or just use your coordinates to your advantage. These last 2 problems here, now they want distance between points. Number 17, I put these 2 dots down here in green. One is at negative 5, 2, and one is at 1, 2. So I can either count the steps to figure out how far apart they are, or, that would be 6 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or I could realize that they both have the same y-coordinate. So really, since they're both on that same horizontal line, I just know that one is 5 units left of my axis, and the other is 1 unit right. So 1 plus 5 is 6 units. All right. Same thing for the next one, but these are the blue dots. Negative 2, 7, and negative 2, negative 2. So again, they're on a nice vertical line. I could count my steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I could get it that way, or I could realize that this one is 7 units above the axis, and this one is 2 units below. And I know that the absolute values of those would be 2 and 7, and that's 9 units away from each other. All right, that I think is the last problem. That brings this section to a close.